If you are currently or thinking about becoming an online health coach, this is the only sales training video that you will need to make sure that you can close at 50% or higher. Now, I know it sounds like a load of hooey, but as somebody who just spent the last 3 months closing at 53%, I can confidently tell you that these pillars are the exact reason why I was able to close at such a high rate. The first thing I want to touch on is who you're actually getting on these calls with, because if you're getting on calls with a ton of unqualified prospects, it won't matter how good your pitch is. It won't matter how good of a listener you are. If they just aren't your target client, then there's no reason why you should be talking with them. And so this all comes down to the conversation that you are having in the DMs. The first thing you need to do in the DMs is to appear. This is a simple, hey, appreciate the follow. Just out of curiosity, what made you hit that follow button? Then you got to get crystal clear on what their actual problem is. Ideally, by asking them why they followed, you're already steering the conversation into health and fitness, assuming that you are currently making content within that niche. Once you're able to find the problem, don't get super deep on anything, but go into qualifications. So first, are they in your total addressable market? And then second, do they have the cash to actually move forward with you? Now, I know what you're thinking. This has got to be really hard to talk about over the DMs. The best way that I've found to do this is to just ask if they have a job. And you can bring this up within the framing of a time commitment. Hey, what does your schedule typically look like with work? Or something similar to actually understand if they have a full-time job or not. So now that we've got them onto a sales call, what do we actually say to make sure that 1, we can bring them into the community, 2, we can actually help them, and then 3, they want to stick around after their initial period. So the sales call looks like, first, building a bit of rapport. You can go as shallow or as deep as you like. I like to start by just asking them what their week looked like. And as soon as you can feel their wall come down a little bit, you can go ahead and jump right in, because there will be more rapport built out as you are furthering along the call. Now, the next thing you need is the pre-frame. This is imperative, otherwise they're not even gonna know what the goal of the call is. I usually say something like, hey, just to kind of set the foundation out for the call, typically the way these goes is I just try and see if I can even help you, right? Worst case scenario, it doesn't make sense for us to work together, but you can still get practical advice for where you're at. And then best case scenario, it totally makes sense for us to work together, and I can get you some really solid results within 90 days. If you have any sort of guarantee, this would be the time to bring it up. And bonus tip, if you do have a guarantee, you can actually frame this as you're just seeing if they even qualify for the guarantee. So now you're actually already, from the beginning of the call, pulling back your offer a little bit so that they want it more. Now you want to figure out what actually brought them onto the call in the first place. What is the goal that they're trying to hit? What problems, pains, or roadblocks are they currently going through, or have they gone through in the past? After you've gotten very clear on exactly what their goal is and when they want to hit it by, you want to figure out what they've tried and what didn't work in the past. After I hit on their goal and their pain, I like to immediately flip the script and figure out exactly how much money they're making. Yeah, I know this does not seem comfortable, but as long as you go about it as a friend who is truly just trying to bridge the gap from where they are and where they want to be, it will come across as genuine and not like you're trying to drain every dollar from their bank account. I ask questions like, what do you do for work? What does your schedule look like? Are you providing for anyone? Is it just yourself? And then eventually get very clear on what their goals are financially. After they tell me their financial goals, I like to ask, with that being a big priority, do you feel like you would actually be in a place to make an investment into this if we did get to the end of the call and it did make sense for us to work together? Ideally, the goal here is to flesh out any sort of financial objections that might pop up at the end of the call. And you should be taking very strong notes here, so that way you can remind them of what they said before there was a bunch of sales pressure. All right, now you're going to double down on the goal and the pain and figure out why they're actually trying to get away from this pain and why they want to hit the goal. I like to go 5 whys deep. So let's say your goal is you want to lose 50 pounds. I would ask you why you want to lose 50 pounds. Well, because you don't feel good. Got it, you don't feel good. Is there anything else that you feel like being overweight has affected? Yeah, I have low motivation and I don't really feel like I'm able to perform my best at work. And at this point, you've actually found something quite a bit deeper than their initial pain point of feeling overweight. So if you can tell back to them exactly what they're telling you and get them to agree on it, this is called doubling down. As soon as you hear a strong motivator for them actually wanting to buy, this is what you want to double down on. So in order to double down with this particular individual, I would say something like, okay, so what I'm hearing is you being overweight is actually affecting you in more ways than one. One of them being that you feel like you would be able to perform better at work or maybe even get a promotion. Is that right? Now that we've chunked down and gotten very clear on what their problems actually are and how the problems are affecting them, I like to hit them with this line, and it never changes regardless of what kind of call I'm on. This line's goal is to instill doubt into the prospect's mind of doing it themselves. Got it? Like, you seem like you're a really smart guy, Mike. Just kind of curious, like, what's sort of stopping you from just figuring this out on your own? This question is super overpowered because it literally just gets them to tell you exactly why they want to buy from you. Now from here, there's two places to go. Either they've tried nothing or they've tried everything. Either way, you're going to ask them, why now? Why do they want to make a change now? What was the thing that the light bulb moment that actually changed their opinion on being okay with this thing that they were originally facing? The goal here is to eliminate any sort of future objection over timing. Now, after we've got the why figured out, we want to touch on the support. Again, this is to overcome any other objection that might come about, oh, I need to talk to my wife, or I need to talk to my boss, or I need to talk to my parents. You want to make sure that any other potential decision maker is fledged out, and if they do bring somebody up, you can just say, got it, like if you did have to go talk to them about this, what do you feel like they would say? And if it's no, do you feel like they would listen? So now that we've gotten super clear on all of these questions, we've gotten all the answers that we want, and we doubled down on every important thing that they've said, it's time to transition. The way that I like to transition is to simply ask them if they feel like they've gotten more clarity about their specific situation. If they say yes, then you want to hop into, I don't help everyone. And I will specifically lay out exactly the kind of person that I don't help so that they can understand that, one, I don't just take on anybody with a pulse, but then two, they are the exact person that I can help. After that, you go on to your pitch and you're off to the races. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next week.